Hi, I'm Dr. Dave Janda. Welcome back to our Operation Freedom platform and our ongoing series at Operation Freedom Health, which focuses on your health and wellness. Well received by our listeners, well received by the general public, not so well received by big pharma, big insurance, big medicine, in short, the medical industrial complex. Why? Because the series Peter and I have done over the past several years, and I don't know how many, we've done dozens and dozens of these. They're all available on this channel, Operation Freedom, the YouTube channel, also available on DaveJanda.com, also available on OperationFreedomHealth.com. The focus of this series is on empowering you to enhance your health and your wellness. Not a pharmaceutical company, not an insurance company, not the AMA, not big medicine, but you. And the title, there's a credit card ad out there, and they say, "What's in your wallet?" Well, no. This particular presentation with my good friend Dr. Peter Glidden, who's one of the top naturopathic physicians, not just in our country, but the world. He's also a phenomenal researcher. He's a phenomenal lecturer, and he's a phenomenal author. His books, Everybody is Sick and I Know Why, and Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine, both available at Amazon. Yeah, so there's this credit card ad called What's in Your Wallet? Well, this is about what's in your medicine cabinet.
Yeah.
So, Pete, have at it. What's in your medicine cabinet, and what do you suggest might be a good option for folks to have in their medicine cabinets?
Well, we get asked this quite a bit, which was kind of a revelation to me, right? Because I've been knee deep in this stuff for decades now. I don't really think like this, but it's a point that's well taken because, when you've got a sore throat, when you've got a bronchitis, when you've got a cut or a nick or a burn, or you've got gout, or you're passing a kidney stone or something, you need to have stuff on hand right away because you can't go to Walgreens and get this stuff. Most health food stores don't even carry this stuff because, remember, we only use stuff we have had actual clinical experience with, and most people just can't get this over the counter. So it's not a bad idea to stock up and have stuff on hand in case, heaven forbid, the crap does hit the fan and you become afflicted with an acute something or other. You've got stuff that you can use right away, right? Mm-hmm. So, good idea. So we've thought about it and we've put together a list, and here's the list. And on Operation Freedom Health, there's a little 15, 20-minute webinar that I've put together which explains how to use this stuff and under what circumstances to use it and when and whys. And we put the whole thing together because it's kind of too in-depth for this format here right now with you. But we can give you the Cliff Notes.
Right.
Okay.
So let's do the Cliff Notes.
Cliff Notes are good. Did you use the Cliff Notes, by the way? And I won't tell anybody your answer to this, Dave. Were you a Cliff Notes guy in college?
Yeah, of course.
Everybody
wasn't everyone to some degree or another.
Yeah.
Now, my wife, who I met in college, was an English major.
Oh.
So I had to be careful about using Cliff Notes around her. Right? That was really, why would you do that? Yeah.
Boy, those were the days.
Yeah.
Those were the days.
Like, you know what? At the time, life didn't seem simpler back then, but it was.
I wonder, are there Cliff Notes for white supremacy and racial? What's it called now? Racial
justice, social justice, and critical race theory. Yeah, but
critical
I'm sure
race, there must be. There must be.
I'm sure there are
critical race theory.
Yeah, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah. Don't look at me to be buying any of those Cliff Notes. Yeah, right? Yeah.
So here's the rundown: a couple of bottles of Killerbiotic. And we use Killerbiotic, as the name implies, to support and promote the immune system during times of acute bacterial and acute viral infections. That's what we do to strengthen the immune system. Killerbiotic, fantastic product. And Killerbiotic was around before the Good Herbs Company was acquired by Longevity. And it has a little bit of a different action on the immune system than the Good Herbs do. Quite frankly, when I'm sick with something, I throw as much as I can at it, because the thought being that, which is really difficult to overdose on this stuff, and the harder you hit it, an infection that is, the sooner you're going to get on the other side of it. So, I pull both triggers, shoot both barrels at it. So Killerbiotic, Cell Shield RTQ, is an antihistamine of sorts. It's very, very good for allergic reactions to things. Mm-hmm. So whatever it is that you've developed an allergy to, if you have seasonal allergies, if you have pet dander allergies are a tough thing to live with, man.
Oh, they're absolutely.
It's a really, really tough thing. Mm-hmm. And most of the pharmaceuticals that are available for antihistamines, they just make things worse over time. Mm-hmm. It's not a good alternative. And it's not really even a good primary care intervention, but that's what conventional medical doctors use all the time. So Cell Shield RTQ we use for that. Cell Shield RTQ can also be used if you have an acute flare-up of a hypertensive event. It'll knock your blood pressure down momentarily, which beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick. Mm-hmm. The Argentin 23 is not a longevity product, but we have a link at Operation Freedom Health where you can purchase it. It's the world's best colloidal silver. And now I've got the research to prove that, by the way. I've got the white papers on the Argentin 23. I've used Argentin 23 myself for 15 years clinically. All of my colleagues use it. Argentin 23 is a fantastic thing to use topically to prevent a secondary infection from developing. So you get a nick or a cut or a burn or a scrape. You spray it with Argentin 23 frequently throughout the day. If it's really bad or you've needed stitches or something, then you can soak a gauze bandage with the Argentin 23, strap it to the wound. It's fantastic. As a matter of fact, the hospitals in the country, I think the Shriners is one of them, who specialize in burns.
Yes, Shriners do specialize in burn
that's treatment. Their thing, right?
Right.
Guess what they use in order to prevent secondary infections in their burn victims? Colloidal silver, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's so effective, and this is the best colloidal silver I've ever seen.
And when I was going through my residency training at the University of Michigan and doing a fair amount of work in the burn unit, we used to use a silver-impregnated cream called Silvadine.
Yeah, they're the same thing.
Yeah.
Right.
And when we first got there, and we started seeing, what is that? Right? And the dressings, after you put this stuff on, and after people would have them on for a little bit, the dressings would look like, we're going to take this off, and the dressings look bad. We're going to take the dressings off, and this is going to be a nightmare. You take the dressings off, and having seen what the wound was the day before, and you take the dressings off, and you go, the dressings look horrible. And the wound, it looks so, you couldn't even recognize because it looks so good.
Yeah, when I've been talking about this particular colloidal silver applications for years, and years ago, I would give probably 20 lectures a year, right, all around the United States. Mm-hmm. And I was giving a lecture, I think it was Arizona or Texas, someplace like that, and was talking all about colloidal silver as a wound healing thing. Mm-hmm. And after the event, this guy came up to me, and he was like right out of the movie's Cowboy, right? Mm-hmm. I mean, this guy was dressed like a cowboy. He purported himself like a cowboy. He talked like a cowboy. He was a cowboy, mm-hmm. right? And he was Mexican-American in descent. Mm-hmm. And he came up to me and he said, I got to hand it to you, Doc, because we've been using this stuff on our animals all the time. We keep satchels of it on the horses when we're out running cattle.
Wow.
Because when they slip or fall or run up against sawgrass or something and they get lacerations or cuts, he said, we put this stuff on them with a combination of herbs, right? It was like a little poultice that they had. And he said 3 days later, you can't even tell that there was a problem.
Yeah.
It's remarkable.
It
and, would be mainstream knowledge just normal every day. The sun rises in the east, sets in the west. You use colloidal silver, son of a gun. If we weren't in the middle of a pharmaceutical monopolization of the medical marketplace.
True.
Because nobody knows this.
Right.
Nobody in the popular culture knows this. We know it.
Mm-hmm.
That's why this lecture series is important. And yeah, we were just talking before we went live here about the Food and Drug Administration.
Oh, yeah.
Just made a nutritional supplement, N-acetylcysteine, a drug.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy, right? Crazy that they do that. That's what they did because it works. It's effective in boosting the immune system. Guess what? When you're affected, infected, afflicted by a viral infection.
Mm-hmm.
So because it works, they have to make it a drug. And that's simply criminal, quite frankly.
I agree with you. I don't think that's an overstatement.
This has been the way that it's been.
It's not an overstatement.
Over 100 years.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
In the United States, the only thing that can treat a disease is a drug. Well, that's the law, but says who? Who says that?
A bunch of people have no functional medical knowledge.
Yeah,
that also have a vested interest, right?
It's criminal.
Yeah.
Quite frankly.
It is.
But I digress.
Yes.
So Argentine 23, there's a link at Operation Freedom Health for where to get that. Good Herbs Respiratory Support is so good in so many ways to support and promote lung health. And, every once in a while, you're going to get a lung problem. Every once in a while, you're going to get a viral illness. You're going to get a bacterial illness. You're going to get bronchitis. Something's going to come around and you're going to be coughing. You're going to be having trouble breathing. Your lungs are going to need help.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to wait 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 days to order this stuff and get it. You need to have it on hand right away. So that's what we use the respiratory support for. Super Olive Health, we've talked ad nauseum about the beneficial antiviral properties of Super Olive Health and Super Olive Health's ability to upregulate the immune system. There's one more thing that I forgot.
And going back, we talked about this on a particular show, and I also believe antibacterial effect. I talked about that when I was treating a patient, a farmer, fell in a barnyard, broke his leg, bone coming through the skin, came to the hospital. It was just a horrible looking wound. We washed him off in the ER, got him to the operating room, washed him out more, fixed his fracture. And then we talked to him about, there's a chance you might have to have an amputation if it gets infected. So we got to be really good on this. So we put him on antibiotics, IV at first, intravenous, and then sent him home with that. Comes back for his first post-op appointment, and I'm expecting, okay, now what's this wound look like? Wound look great. And I said to him, okay, well, boy, yeah, so far dodging a bullet, but we got a ways to go here, But and you're taking your antibiotic, and he looked at me and, well, no, I'm not. What? No, I'm not. I didn't. I did for a day or two, but no, haven't taken them in a week and a half. Oh boy, that's not a good idea. Well, it's not like I haven't been doing anything, Doc. Well, what's that? Well, I've been taking this olive leaf. What? Now, this is 25 years. 20 years. Olive. I go, what? He goes, I've been taking this olive leaf extract. And I go, what is that? He goes, well, you got to look it up, Doc. He goes, all of us, out in the farmland, this is what we take whenever we have a problem. You potentially have exposure, cut, gashed, and we don't want to go see any doctors. No offense, Doc. We don't like docs. We don't like hospitals. We don't like. I get it. Okay. Well, you got to do some research on it, but yeah, you want me to take the antibiotics? Well, it's okay, but I'm going to take this. And I go, okay, well, I'm going to see you back every week because I want it. When this thing gets bad, I want to know it sooner rather than later. Okay. It's coming in week after week. Wound still looking pristine, looking great. I, meanwhile, look it up, and Pete, I became a believer in olive leaf extract. And in fact, from that point on, I started actually taking it every day.
Proof of the pudding's in the eating.
Every day. And it turned out that fella never had an issue.
Yeah.
Never had an issue. Never.
Yeah, I mean, nature knows best. Right?
And this was a bad barnyard injury, okay? Yeah. I mean, it doesn't get any more manure or more dirty or more contaminated than a barnyard injury.
Well, in botanical medicine, there's been a saying forever that, when it comes to medical treatments, who do you trust, God or the pharmacist?
Yeah, go.
Right?
Yeah, right.
Now, it's interesting to think this through because the majority, and I used to know the percentage, but it's a high percentage of the pharmaceuticals that are available now were derived from plants.
Mm-hmm.
Right? People saw that a plant, like olive plant, had a particular action, physiological action. So the scientists then, in their hubris and arrogance, takes the plant into the laboratory, looks at the chemical constituents in the plant, of which there's, let's just make a number up, maybe 100 chemical constituents in for example, the leaf of the olive bush, right?
Right.
So then, for some reason, that nobody really knows how they arrived at this conclusion, the scientists will look at one of the constituents,
say, that's it. That's the magic ingredient.
And then they concentrate it.
Yeah.
Then they synthesize it.
Right.
Then they turn it into a drug, or in the cases of most botanical medicines that are available over the counter. And this trend started in Germany, by the way. It was called a standardized extract. They would pick one component, one chemical component out of the hundreds that are in the plant. They'll concentrate it, and then they'll put that into the herbal capsule that they sell. Because they think that they're smarter than God. They think that they're smarter than nature. Now, we say, well, why don't you use all 100 of them?
Right.
In the concentrations that developed natural.
Right, because you get a synergistic effect with all that.
Which is really interesting. 4 years ago, I was at an annual naturopathic medical conference, and there were 2 students. They hadn't even graduated yet. They were 2 students. I think they were both in their senior year at one of the naturopathic medical schools, and they were giving a presentation that was part of their senior thesis or whatever they had to do, right, in order to graduate. And it was unbelievable. They had cell cultures with different bacteria, and they had applied different botanical medicines to the different culture mediums to see which ones were more effective. Guess which ones were more effective? The whole plant extract or a plant extract that had been standardized to contain a concentrated amount of this one thing.
The whole ball of wax.
Whole ball of wax. Every single time. And it wasn't just a small change.
Big change.
It was like a remarkably huge change in the ability of the plant, in this case, to kill bugs.
So how did that study go over?
Well, for the people in the naturopathic community that were, enrolled in selling the standardized herbal extracts, not so well.
Yeah.
But for people like me and the guy that founded Good Herbs, it was like Christmas, right? Because it was validation. Remember, and the whole thing that my profession attempts to do, science-based, clinically verified.
Right.
Science-based, clinically verified. So it was just validation of what we've been saying, that Mother Nature knows best. And not to flog a dead horse, but this is worth repeating. If you are attempting to extract constituents from a plant in order to have a physiological action, there are bad ways to do that. There's mediocre ways to do that. And there's excellent ways to do that. The problem is that the excellent ways to do that cost money and take time.
Right.
And most botanical medicine companies, it's all about the bottom line. They gotta sell stuff, man. and the less expensive it is to make it, the better it is for them.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not what the Good Herbs does.
No.
Good Herbs people take their time. They use the highest quality ingredients. They use the highest grade alcohol.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's important, the alcohol part. Reinforce that, Pete.
Oh, it's a huge... So, in the wonderful world of alcohol...
Yeah. Right.
There's different proofs of alcohol,
right?
Right? 20 proof, 40 proof, 50 proof. Well, and the higher the proof,
yep,
the harder it is to get,
mm-hmm,
and way more expensive.
That's right.
Not just a little more expensive, but a lot more expensive. And you got to keep this in mind that when botanical medicine company buys solvent, like alcohol,
right,
it's not a quart
no,
at a time. It's a 25-gallon container that 100 times a year. It's huge quantities of this stuff. Mm-hmm. And that adds up. That's a pretty penny when you're talking about the highest grade alcohol. Good Herbs uses 190 proof alcohol. It's the highest proof you can get. They steep the herbs in it at a certain temperature, mm-hmm, for a certain amount of time, which is all proprietary information,
right,
which has been gleaned from laboring through mountains of research, mm-hmm, over hundreds of years, mm-hmm, no kidding, mm-hmm, in order to generate a finished product which is excellent.
Right. Which does the job.
And that makes all the difference in the world, right? And mm-hmm, it's a kind of a big deal. I love the Good Herbs family of products.
I do too. I've used it for years.
So last but not least, in our What's in Your Medicine Cabinet armamentarium, mm-hmm, is the kidney and bladder support.
Oh, okay. Kidney and bladder support.
Now, I don't know if you've ever passed a kidney stone.
I have not. Knock on wood, yes. But some relatives of mine have.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
It is not a day at the beach.
No.
So you need, heaven forbid that's happening. Mm-hmm. Or you have gout.
Yeah.
Right? A flare-up of gout. Kidney and bladder support to the rescue. Passing a kidney stone, kidney and bladder support to the rescue. And in the video tutorial that I put together, walk you right through how to use that stuff. It's fantastic. It's really great. Keep this stuff on board. And more importantly, or as importantly, educate yourself about how to use it.
That's right.
Because we've got PDFs, we've got written documentation that comes along for the ride here. And, what are you going to do? You going to read the latest James Patterson crime novel, or are you going to read this? Educate yourself a little bit about this summer when you're on the beach, kicking back, trying to relax and get away from all of the Biden nonsense, which is infiltrating every aspect of humanity. Educate yourself here, and we'll help you to do that. It's as important as keeping the stuff on hand.
And all this information is available at OperationFreedomHealth.com, as is a link to the products. And full disclosure, purchase of the products from Operation Freedom Health does support this platform. Pete, when you were talking about kidney stones, you and I did a video presentation well over a year ago, and we were specifically talking about kidney stones. Mm-hmm. And you had mentioned something else in addition to the kidney and bladder support. You had mentioned that if you have a kidney stone, taking corn silk oil.
Yeah, corn silk. Alcohol extract of corn silk, organic corn silk.
Right. Which is available on, I don't know, Amazon or whatever. But
No. That's the problem. It used to be.
Oh, it's not any longer.
Well, to get organic corn silk, is not the easiest thing in the world to do because it's organic.
Oh, okay.
And even though they farm corn more than anything else, and just take a drive through Iowa,
right?
You can't believe how much corn is produced in this country.
Mm-hmm.
It's not organic.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the distinctions here that makes a difference. We're talking about the high quality stuff, how to get the most bang out of the plant.
Right.
Well, when we're attempting to dissolve a kidney stone,
right,
for some reason, the organic corn silk is 10 times better than the regular corn silk.
And where's that available?
Well, I don't know. Canada, some parts of the United States, some parts of
So
Europe.
just go to a favorite search engine, DuckDuckGo, whatever it might be, organic corn silk oil. And the reason why I bring that up is because a number of people that were suffering at the time from kidney stones that watched that video and nothing had been working.
Yeah.
And they went to their urologist. And all these recommendations, Pete and I suggest, tell your doc about it. Talk to your doc about it. Present your doc about the information that's presented. Hopefully they'll decide, hey, I got to watch some more of these videos and see what else. Because it's stuff, for example, I didn't learn in medical school, right? The nutritional side and the like. They went to their urologist and said, hey, I saw this video and it, but corn, really? Well, give it a try. What do you know about it? Well, I don't know, but give it a try. Well, these folks got in touch and say, look, I used the corn silk oil and it made an enormous difference.
Yeah, my brother was one of those people that it made a big difference. He's suffered with kidney stones for a long, long time.
Yeah.
I keep telling him he needs to do more calcium. He doesn't listen to me. But when he passes a stone, he sucks down the corn silk, and it works like a freaking charm.
And one thing we always talk about, Pete, is folks having the foundation of the 90 essential nutrients and minerals. And that's through the foundation pack that you and I have discussed a number of times. That's also available on OperationFreedomHealth.com. But specifically what we're talking about today is, well, in times of trouble,
Yeah.
right? And people ask, so what do you have in your medicine cabinet? This is what you recommend that you have in your cabinet, and you would recommend to your family or friends. This is what you should have.
100%. And, again, it's better to, I'm starting to sound like a survivalist. I'm not. Right, but it's better to have this stuff and not need it than to need it and have to wait 5, 6, 7 days to get it, which is nonsense. And God only knows with this administration how that supply chain is going to be affected.
Oh,
right?
Absolutely.
I went to Home Depot yesterday. I
Yes.
was fixing a soffit on my house. We had ice buildup this winter. And so anyway, I needed a piece of plywood. And the price of the plywood had gone up 300% in the last 2 weeks.
There you are.
I couldn't believe how much I had to pay for a 2x4 piece of plywood. My head exploded.
Well, Pete, there are 98% built cars and trucks sitting in lots because of the supply chain problems of getting chips in their computer systems, that they're just sitting idle. I mean, by the thousands because of the supply chain thing. And that's an important point, because we all tend to think, because this is how we've been brought up in our country, well, when I need it, I'll just call or I'll just go right to the store and they'll have it. And that's not necessarily the case anymore.
Especially not now.
Yeah, right.
Right. Especially not now. I mean, I can't. Yeah. We should probably have a betting pool about what gasoline is going to cost by July 4th. It's unbelievable. So get this stuff, stock it, learn how to use it, and I'm going to be your best friend, heaven forbid, when the crap hits the fan and you start to get sick. You're going to have it right away. You're going to be able to use it right away. Bada bing, bada boom. That beats a poke in the eye with a sharp stick.
And the other thing that beats a poke in the eye, your two books, Everybody is Sick and I Know Why, and Attempt to Cure with Holistic Medicine, they should be the foundation of every person's home medical library, because they are chock full of such great information. They are available at Amazon. We also have the information we discussed here, the video Pete discussed, the products Pete and I've discussed at OperationFreedomHealth.com. And Pete, on your website, drglidden.com, Dr. Glidden, Glidden, drglidden.com, there's a wealth, an absolute treasure trove of information as it relates to your health and wellness as well.
Yeah, thanks, Dave. We try to educate as many people as we can because, right, like the fella said, it's better to teach a guy to fish than to give him a fish. And a lot of the concepts here are not that difficult to understand or to implement. nobody's ever lined it up for you. And, we've grown up with the mystique that the doctor knows what's best and that's this specialized information that only brainiacs can understand. That's a lie.
That's right. That's right.
So there's a lot that you can do here just with a little bit of information, and I've gone out of my way to help you do that.
And we thank you, Pete. And we thank you, folks, for joining us today. Until next time, Dave Janis signing off. Dream big and dare to fail. Thanks for your time today.